Andor is not only one of the best shows to come out on Disney Plus, but it's also one of the best pieces of Star Wars content to come out in the last decade. But how exactly does it manage to feel fresh and original while remaining completely grounded in what makes Star Wars feel like Star Wars? That is a great question. For context, I think Rogue One may very well be the best film to have come out of the Disney era. And if it isn't, it's certainly the most consistent. See, the beauty of that film is how it really makes George Lucas's galaxy far, far away feel like a living, breathing world. Before it came out, despite the immaculate world building, everything basically revolved around the Skywalkers. Now, I get that they're supposed to be the main focus of the saga, but there's something tragically poetic about Rogue One and how it tells the story of heroes that won't be remembered. It deals with the absolutely haunting idea of realizing that you're not the main character in the larger narrative of the galaxy. Andor captures everything great about Rogue One and intensifies it tenfold. The stakes are palpable but personal. The conflicts in the show are much smaller in scale than those depicted in most of the films, but the consequences feel much more visceral and immediate. There's no Wilhelm scream when someone's hit by blaster fire. Violence in this show truly feels violent, and it clearly weighs on our main characters. We've seen the likes of Han Solo and Obi-Wan mow through waves of enemies without hesitation, but Diego Luna beautifully captures Cassian's reluctance to pull the trigger. He does so out of necessity, but takes no pleasure in it. That level of vulnerability is really uncommon in the Star Wars universe, so it's incredibly compelling to see on screen. The whole cast is honestly fantastic. The choice to remain on one planet for 3 episodes makes it much easier to get attached to the various faces that make up the ensemble. Bix and Mr. Mamma Mia are easily the standouts, but all of the actors are giving it their all, and they really sell how oppressive it would be to live under the Empire. And that's part of why I think this show is so brilliant. It grounds itself in a time period and world that we're utterly familiar with at this point, but it still finds a way to examine it from a completely new perspective. This show gives us the purest, boots on the ground look at the Star Wars galaxy thus far. There isn't a prophecy guiding these characters through their journey. There's no promise that their actions will have a meaningful impact. As a result, the universe around them doesn't feel like set dressing, but rather a harsh and unforgiving reality that they do their best to cope with. We don't see the Empire in these first few episodes, but their shadow is ever present. It looms over Cassian and the others as a constant reminder that their actions have meaningful consequences. Even if Cassian manages to escape Imperial forces, who knows what might happen to the people he cares about. The bad guys in the show aren't cannon fodder. They're a real threat, which emphasizes how radically brave the individuals who resist them actually are. There's only 3 episodes out right now, but from what we've seen thus far, I could not be happier with the direction of this show. It's a radical departure from anything we've seen up until now, but it never loses that Star Wars magic. Whether or not you like the sequels, we can all admit at times they felt like a departure from Lucas's original vision. But with Andor, Disney is leaning into what Star Wars fans love, while also giving them something that evolves what a Star Wars story can be. If you haven't watched it yet, do yourself a favor and change that. And if you have, let me know what you thought down below in the comments. I have plenty of other thoughts on Star Wars, so click here for more of those, or here to watch all of my other video essays. I'm Dylan, and this has been The Writer's Block.